In this video, we're going to be talking about what you need to do in your first 90 days to be successfully selling final expense life insurance. Step number 1, get licensed. So if you're thinking about selling final expense, you've got to get licensed, you got to go through all the rigmarole, and here's what you need to do. Number 1, get a pre-licensing course. I recommend ExamFX or Excel Solutions. Once you finish the pre-licensing, then Google search in your state where you can take the life insurance exam. And once you pass, you're going to have to get fingerprints and officially apply to the State Department of Insurance to become a licensed life insurance agent, which is all you need to sell final expense. The second thing you need to do is choose your niche and agency. So there's a couple of factors you need to consider before deciding which agency and opportunity to sell final expense with. And it comes down to this. Do you want to sell final expense over the phone, or do you want to sell final expense in person? These are the two ways to sell final expense successfully, and your job is to pick one of them. It's very rare that we ever see anybody who becomes a hybrid agent just getting started out, doing both telesales and face-to-face sales. So my advice to you is to trust your gut, figure out where your strengths lie. Is it in telesales or in in-person sales? And then go 100% in that direction. And then once you know which of those options works best, it becomes easier to pick the best agency for you. And here's a couple of pieces of advice when selecting an agency. Number 1, make sure the agency actually trains you to be successful. Most final expense agencies are MLMs that recruit you to recruit other people. Please just completely avoid that. Focus on joining an agency that's exclusively interested in training you to be a top producer. Number 2, make sure that there is a lead system that you can follow. Whether that's receiving free leads like what we provide at the DIG Agency for telesales and face-to-face agents, or even buying your own leads as an agent, which we also support at the DIG Agency. Figure out what you can best support based off of your budget. And then number 3, make sure that the culture is a good fit for you and what you're looking to do. And that comes from talking to other agents in the agency, doing interviews with the agency, and seeing if there's a match between what it is that you want to accomplish and what the agency wants to accomplish too. Now that you've picked your niche and your agency, step number 3 is this: commit to training. The best piece of advice I can give you as a new agent is once you have joined the agency that fits everything that you want to see, is go all in. Go all into the product training. Go all into learning the script to sell successfully. Literally apply yourself 10, 12 plus hours a day in that run-up period so that you can be as prepared as possible to successfully have a great final expense career. I see way too many agents that jump into this business, don't take it seriously, and then fail out. Don't be another statistic. The final expense business, whether sold over the phone or in person, is absolutely amazing. But you have to commit to it just as much as your trainers and agency do if you want to see a chance of success. And pro tip, good training looks like this. You should have daily meetups with your trainer, either in a group or a one-on-one. You should have a script that has been proven to work with other agents in the agency. You should have carrier training, as well as ongoing course correction training as you get started to help you become as good as you can possibly be. Make sure you ask your agency if this is provided, because what I've learned running an agency that does all of what I've described is that the vast majority don't have anything like this. Number 4, dial in your lead generation process. When it comes to final expense, just do what you're told. The final expense business is boring. The lead generation strategies that work have worked for a very long time. And it's unlikely that you're gonna come up with some brand new system that beats the pants off of the predictable processes that are already used. The agency that you choose should do one of the following lead programs depending on if you're face-to-face or over the phone. If you're selling over the phone, you should see Facebook generated style leads or some type of inbound television lead. Both are proven to be successful. If you're doing face-to-face final expense sales, you should either be working direct mail leads or Facebook leads. The preference on these leads is to be working fresh and exclusive leads exclusively. This ups your chance that you're going to sell more policies per presentation, because age leads, especially beyond 3 to 6 months, are just basically glorified cold calls and low conversion opportunities. Number 5, you as a new final expense agent in your first 90 days should be doing goal setting. Here's a quick overview of how you should set goals. Decide on what your annual income goal is. Divide it by 12. Then get with your trainer on the average case size and commission rates to determine what each sale is worth as far as income is after expenses if you're buying leads, or just based off the commission if you're getting free leads. Then simply take the monthly income goal and divide it by the average case size to see what you need to make sales every single month. Then divide that by 4 weeks and get with your agency on what the average conversion rates are in order to make a sale, to then plan out on what kind of activity is necessary to accomplish those goals on a short-term basis. The point is to start off with the big picture in mind, then chunk down those goals into micro goals so that you can apply them on a daily basis and know what kind of inputs that you have to put in to get the outputs of income that you want to see. Number 6, after you've done a lot of this preliminary action to get ready, bottom line, you've got to take massive action. What does massive action look like? Here's a few things that come to mind for me. Are you working at least 10+ hours a day? Are you putting in times at night in order to work those leads that you can't get during the day? Are you avoiding the distractions that can tempt you away from putting the time in on the phone or in person? Are you working Saturdays in order to make up for days that maybe you didn't make the sales goals that you wanted to see? Are you prioritizing work because you know deep in your heart your long-term vision is to be successful and financially independent, and that paying the price today is the way to see the fruits for tomorrow? If you're not doing all this stuff, chances are you're going to end up being in the percentage of failures, 90% plus, that dominate new agents coming into the business. And one of the best things you can do to avoid being a statistic is to just take massive action. Now, as you take massive action, you see the people and attempt to make sales, you're probably going to make mistakes. And this is why point number 7 is vital. Always course correct and get mentorship. The best way to think about being a final expense agent is that it's synonymous with being a professional athlete. Think about any professional athlete, even the best in the world. I bet they have coaches of all sorts to help their performance be as best as possible. And if we're talking about somebody who is the best at their particular sport getting coaching, then why can't you, who probably isn't the best of the best, have some sort of mentorship as well? In other words, here's the point. We at the DIG Agency, for example, mentor our agents and develop them even after they start taking massive action, because it's likely they're going to see things that they thought they were prepared for but really weren't, and need somebody who has street cred and experience to help them unearth what the problem truly is and how to course correct in order to fix the mistakes that they were making. And it's really this action that helps lift up conversion rates, helps you sell more policies, and stay as profitable as possible. One of the most dangerous things that agents can get involved with in the final expense business is becoming a lone wolf, doing everything on their own without ever having critiques or some sort of mentorship to help them improve. Don't get stuck in that kind of position, because it's really easy to do in this otherwise lonely business. And the last thing you need to do once you get started is to stay the course. So this happens to a lot of agents that get started selling final expenses. They start to get some success in the first couple of months, and they realize that it's not all rainbows and sunshine. There's difficulties in this business. People lapse their coverage. People get frustrated. There's bad things as well as good things in all types of business models. But what a lot of immature agents that have never run a business before successfully do is start to think that switching products or even switching agencies is the way to avoid a problem and to somehow turn their fortune around. And while I will say there are cases where making an agency change is the best thing because you're not getting training, support, or good lead systems or good carriers, the truth is if you have that in pretty good supply, it's likely that changing up something too dramatically is not going to help, but is going to hurt. I see this a lot when it comes to generating leads. Agents decide that buying leads is beneath them or is a waste of money, and then decide to get into self-generation of leads. And while there's agents who are successful doing it, I would say 90% of those agents who buy a course, put this stuff into action, actually never are as successful as they were just buying leads or getting their leads from their agency and staying the course. This business is so simple that it can be freaking complicated. So you have to remind yourself to just put in the work, that the business of selling final expense really hasn't changed in decades, and it really all is about getting leads however you get them, seeing the people, whether it's over the phone or in person, closing them with a good script, with good carrier selections, and then repeating that process really for weeks, months, and years on end in order to hit the income goals that you want. So what do you think about this video? Did it help you get an idea of what to do to be successful in your first 90 days selling final expense? If you enjoyed this video, please consider commenting below. And also, if you're looking for an agency to join, please check out daviddufour.com to see more about the DIG Agency. We train agents to sell final expense successfully over the phone and in person. You can either buy your own leads at a higher commission, or we can provide your leads for free at a lower commission. We have great mentorship, great training, and access to proprietary carriers and proprietary lead systems that nobody else has access to. To learn more, please go to daviddufour.com.